You read the title. This build is the only correct build. Any other build? No. Kraken? No. AP build? No. Oh, but Tori, the stat websites say, don't even get me started on the stat websites. It's just pissing me off that everybody, like, nobody has an idea how to build in this game. Oh my god. So, unlike a normal video, I'm here to make you understand what this champion does, her identity, and how to actually build, what items do, and how items work with each other, how they interact. Because what most people do, I good, you that GG, you that, oh, this build is it good? Okay, I'll copy it and just go in my games. And you're going to be surprised that you have no idea what they're doing, no idea how to play around your strengths, weaknesses, what to play for, and of course you're going to have a bad time. You're first going to be hard stuck anyway. You're not going to improve anything. So, there's timestamps in this video. You can use timestamp if you want, if you have a TikTok brain. But I recommend you watch everything because before I get to the items and runes, I'm going to get started with teaching you what Yunara wants. What's her champion identity? So, Yunara wants to play for 2 to 3 items. Really, 2 items and a crit cloak. That's where you start to become insane, okay? Why do I say that? Well, you might know already that Yunara's passive gives you crit damage. Wow. Crit damage under, that deals magic damage actually. So it's like you already have Infinity Edge in your kit. So that's good to remember for later, which is huge. And then your main source of damage is, surprise, surprise, basic attacks. Okay, so we need to optimize this champion for dealing basic attacks that can also crit, because any crit you get, crits even harder. And the more you attack, the more damage you deal. And worrying about your other abilities, your E and W, because people tell me Navori and stuff, oh my god, I hate when people say that. They have no idea about this champion, they don't even read. So, right. So, first of all, why is the crit build the only correct option? And especially my variant that you're going to see, not the other variant. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But why don't we go AP? She has AP scalings. Well, she also has AD scalings, by the way. Hello. And also, hey, AP scalings. Again, you deal damage with basic attacks. Like, you know what a basic attack scale with? Attack damage. Oh, what? Mind blow. What? No way. But my abilities. Stop caring about abilities. You don't play Yunara to ability. You wanna go play Zeraf or something. Go play Ziggs. Be a terrorist bot, like throw bombs, and come back to me when you cry that you can't play the game anymore because people learn how to dodge your abilities now. Right? Yunara is all about good spacing, playing for the mid to late game, having a lot of patience in the early game. And that's how you win with Yunara. So, let's get started with the first item, which is, surprise, surprise, Yuntal. Because, hey, Yuntal Valderos is like the only starter crit item right now that makes a lot of sense for auto-attackers. You can't really do anything else. Collector, no. Kraken, no. Why no Kraken? Okay, so there's this debate right now with Kraken versus Yuntal. Let me explain why Yuntal is 100 times more superior than Kraken. So, let's get started with assuming that Kraken Slayer is good on Yunara. Okay. What does Kraken give you? Well, it gives you attack damage, attack speed, cool. Bit of movement speed, cool. Alright, those are good stats, not gonna lie. And then the passive says, hey, you deal more damage with your third basic attack. Okay, cool. And also, that passive interacts with your Q. So if you hit 3 targets with your Q, well, that's a Kraken proc on every basic attack, right? It's insane when you think about it. Damn, crazy good, right? But there's a problem. You can't really control that Kraken proc because it depends on how many stacks you had in your Kraken before you press Q, and it's just very weird, and it assumes you need, like, it requires you to hit 3 targets for it to work. Otherwise, it's just your ordinary Kraken, a bit of damage every third hit. That's it, right? And now, let's look at Yuntal and why it's better. Like, there's just some logic here. Yuntal gives you attack damage, attack speed. Okay, cool stuff. Doesn't give you movement speed, but guess what, guys? You have movement speed in your kit, you have your E, which is literally like get movement speed. You don't need that 4% movement speed from Kraken, okay? And then, on top of it, Yuntal gives you crit. Yeah. So let's compare this 25% crit chance to the Kraken. Kraken, every third hit deals damage. 25% crit chance means every fourth hit deals extra damage. And also, guess what? Because of your passive, that every fourth hit with 25% crit deals extra damage on top of the crit because you have Yunara passive that deals more damage, magic damage on every crit. So it's like, hello? You can already see how good crit is on Yunara compared to Kraken. And then, you know, buying Yuntal, buying crit this early, that escalates in scales into the mid to late game. Get 2 crit items, 3 crit items. You are unstoppable already. With Kraken, you're just falling off so hard. Falling off harder than, I don't know, name a popular YouTube that, who knows what they did, and they're falling off now. Yeah, they're falling even harder. Kraken is not good. Alright? So trust me, Yuntal first. Okay, hopefully we agree on that. Now, boots. Boots, you go attack speed boots, berserkers, okay, trust me, don't worry, go any other swifties and stuff. No, just go berserkers. You attack faster, you deal more damage, you crit more often, deal more damage. That's simple, that's all you need to know. Cool. Let's talk about second item. Because this is where it gets even more interesting. Infinity Edge or Runan Hurricane second item. That's an interesting one because people say, hey, Tori, but Infinity Edge has always been good. It's been amazing to go Infinity Edge, right? On Jinx, you say we should go Infinity second because it's most DPS. That's true, yeah. But on Yunara, guys, Jinx has no crit scalings. Yunara has scaling with crit on her passive, on every crit, on every basic attack that crits. So it's like you already have Infinity Edge. You have Infinity Edge at home, basically, on Yunara at level 1. It's wild, I know, it's crazy. So that means Infinity Edge is actually not that high of priority on Yunara compared to Runan. Right? Because when you think about it, like the more of a stat you have, the less good it becomes. You know, you could stack all the crit damage you want, but if you don't actually crit, who cares how much crit damage you have? So on Yunara, it just makes more sense to rush crit chance. Alright? And I'm not saying rush crit chance like Gangplank, buy 4 crit cloaks and call it a day. No, because the other stats you get from your items are actually worth it. And also, Runan's passive is massive. And we're going to talk about that right now. And this is why you need to finish your second item instead of stacking crit. And because of how Runan works with your Q, with your basic attacks. And also without your Q, just normal basic attacks. So let's talk about the easier situation first. Imagine you walk up to a wave. How do you clear it? You have no items or you have infinity, whatever. You basic attack, basic attack, basic attack. Oh, my Q is stacked after 8 basic attacks with minion wave. I can finally Q. Oh, but there's not much to Q anymore. There's maybe a couple minions left. Oh, so it's kind of like, it felt so bad, you know? Your wave clear is very bad without Q. And how do you stack Q? You hit. What can you hit? Minion waves. So it's like, you don't really have wave clear. Yeah, your W might be okay, but guess what? Right? It's a good time to talk about this as well. What do you max? Do you max W second? Do you max E second? Well, I would say after trying a little bit, maybe E second is superior. Because W doesn't really increase much besides the little damage you deal, and also the W damage is not much compared to basic attacks, right? So your E is going to be maxed second. Which means your W doesn't really help you much for wave clear. Yeah, it has a small execute, I mean, it does scale and everything. But, I mean, it's not reliable enough compared to, hey, Runan, basic attacks, right? You go to a wave with Runan, without Q stacked, or your basic attacks already like spread into 3. So it's like you destroy that wave. You destroy that wave, so you can now move on to other things, other better things, right? And now let's talk about the other situation when it comes to Runan Hurricane, of how the Runan bolts work on Yunara. The Runan bolts, they also bounce, when your Q is active, to the primary target, similar to Jinx. So it's just bonkers how much damage you can deal. Like the Runan bolts can also hit the primary target, which is insane, alright? It's crazy to think about that. So because of it, Yunara really loves Runan Hurricane. It's this item has been designed for Yunara, or maybe you could say the opposite. Yunara was designed with Runan in mind. They wanted us to rush this item because it's so good. I mean, just look at the screen how many examples of fights I showed you. Like Runan is popping off in those fights. So that's what you want to do, definitely. Alright? And it's just insane. And also on top of it, on top of this goodness already, you are buying Runan, which is cheaper. Right? If you want to do some damage testing, you could just do Yuntal Runan Crit Cloak compared to Yuntal Infinity Edge. Guess what? The damage is like the same. Except Runan is cheaper. and it's better in teamfights, and it's better at wave clear. And what? You already, like, if you're not sold already, like, what? Right? So trust me, go Ronan second. Don't go Infinity second. Go Ronan. Ronan second is also much easier to buy rather than saving for another BF sword. It's annoying enough that we have to save for a BF sword for Yuntal in the first place. Don't want a second one this early in the game, right? So this is why we move over to the third item, which is Infinity Edge, right? And the beauty of buying Infinity third is the fact that on Jinx, for example, if say you want to buy Infinity and you recall and you cannot afford PKX or BF sword, you're like so sad because I want attack damage, right? I don't want to buy Crit Cloak. But on Yunara, I want Crit Cloak. Crit Cloak is a lot more damage because of my passive and everything. So that was like buying Infinity even cooler, right? It's so nice to buy third because you could just buy Crit Cloak even. So Infinity third, why? Well, because like we already have 50% crit. You buy Infinity, you have 75% crit. These crits get further amplified by Infinity Edge as well. So now it's a perfect time to buy it. Why not, let's say, LDR? What if enemies have Ramus and Malphite in the same team? Should I go Lord Dominic's for armor pen third? Well, guess what? You're passive. You're passive, right? Deals magic damage, right? It's crazy. It's magic. It's magic damage. So rushing LDR on Nara, not really needed. Don't really need to do it. You could just buy Infinity third every game. Trust me, it's gonna be good. And now the fourth item. This is when Lord Dominic's shows, right? Or a mortar reminder if you need Enta heal, right? All good stuff. But why do we buy Lord Dominic's? Why not Terminus? Because hey, people tell me, hey, Tony, Terminus actually might deal a bit more damage, or it's very similar. And gives you a bit of armor and MMR, right? It's crazy. Well, no. Because two reasons. First of all, Lord Dominic's, right? And actually maybe multiple reasons, but first of all, like you deal a lot more physical damage than magic damage as well, right? You deal physical damage. If you look at like your match history, if you look at your damage numbers, like you deal like twice as much physical damage, right? And this in a way you could say, oh, but it contradicts your previous point with not needing LDR. But at the same time, I mean, you know, third item, enemies are, the mid tanks are not full build. They're not going to be unstoppable. Your magic damage will be enough to take them down this early in the game, right? So it's good enough. That's why you go LDR 4th, because now you might be in dire need of that physical armor pen. You need it. So you want to buy definitely now and not buy Terminus because Lord Dominic's has upfront damage. Terminus needs a bit of time to stack it, right? You need to stack it a little bit. You need to hit a little bit. Compared to Lord Dominic's, you just hit them and they explode. There's no stacking here. You kill everyone three hits, you destroy them. So you just go for this LDR. It's so good. You max your crit as well, and yeah, talk about this as well. If you go Terminus 4th, then what do you go last item? You need to go crit item? What do you go? Shield or whatever? I mean, why not? What? So you're missing out on Bloodthirster, missing out on Guardian Angel. Bro, these items are so good. You're not buying them? Because you want to buy Terminus? Because you want to... I'm going to be different. I'm going to build different. I'm not going to build what makes sense. No, I'll buy Terminus. Yes, because AP scalings. Woohoo. What? No, go LDR. And then for the last item, now the gates of heaven have opened. You can buy Bloodthirster, you can buy Guardian Angel, you can buy Mauve Malmortius. You could buy, if you're crazy, Zonia. Whoa, you buy Zonia, right? I really recommend you stick to like classic ADC items because buying attack damage increases your damage, right? And your crits and everything. Buying AP, sure, it scales, you know, your passive and stuff. But at the same time, I mean, you shouldn't sleep on Guardian Angel Revive. Mauve Malmortius against mages that give you a ton of MR and magic shield. Don't want to skip on that Bloodthirster shield and insane lifesteal. Imagine that lifesteal in a teamfight where you hit multiple targets. It's, oh my god, it's gonna be, you have like 3 HP bars. It's insane, right? So don't miss out on those. And then, you know, Zonia, I guess, because you have a B scaling, sure, Zonia is not bad on Yunara. It's okay, but I never needed it. And why buy Zonia? We could just buy GA in the first place, right? Kind of makes no sense to me. But hey, that's just me, right? Maybe you have different reasons. They have Z, so you wanna Zonia his ulti. Okay, cool, sure, go for it, right? Don't let me stop you. I mean, honestly, if you made it this far into the video and this far into the items, like you have 100% crit and everything, last item, I really up to you, like whatever you need in the game. It's less important. You deal damage. That's what's important, you know? Like an item, last item's not really gonna save your life that much compared to positioning properly and playing with your teammates. Let's be honest, alright? So hopefully this just makes sense, because I'm just sick and tired of seeing people buying the wrong items for some reason, because they wanna be different. I don't understand. Or they wanna copy the Korean guy or whatever, who knows, right? Instead of using logic. I don't understand. Anyway, let's move over to runes now, because runes are actually, this is where you have a couple options, which is quite cool, unlike the build where you kind of have to buy the same thing every game. It is what it is. But with runes, first of all, what you don't have the option to choose from is little tempo, right? Go little tempo. Trust me, go little tempo good. Alright? Good. Okay. You want attack speed, the more attack speed you have, the more damage little tempo does. It's amazing. It's so good. Alright then. Now, for the next runes, you have to choose between Absorb Life, Triumph, and Presence of Mind. Well, honestly, what you should never do is take Presence of Mind, because your mana costs are very low, and when you ult, you don't have mana costs, so you don't really use a lot of mana. You don't have mana problems on this champion. You don't need it, right? So you have to choose between Absorb Life and Triumph. Honestly, go Triumph. Triumph is better because you don't need Absorb Life. You know why? Because you have the next Legend runes, and you can choose Bloodline. I recommend Bloodline 100%. Yeah, Alacrity is cool because, hey, you attack a bit faster. I know, I understand. But you're already buying a ton of attack speed with little tempo. Q gives you attack speed already. You don't really need that extra attack speed. It's not that good. Remember what I told before about you have so much of this stat, you don't need more of this stat. Yeah, you have so much attack speed, you probably don't need it. Instead, you want to get Bloodline. You know why? Because having no lifesteal, right? You have 0 lifesteal otherwise on the champion. And don't get me started on the Doran Blade, because that Doran Blade you can always sell for like second or third item. It's always worth it. And now you're just stuck farming Raptors, and you take damage, and now you are not full HP into going to do a fight. It's so weird. Or, oh, a random Seraph W hits you, because you're not paying attention. Now you have to recall, I guess. No, instead you have Bloodline, you can hit a wave. Oh, you're back to full HP, very cool. Trust me, it's gonna feel better. It's way nicer. And for the last yellow runes, whatever they're called, you should go cut down. And there's no discussion here. Cut down is more damage, right? Enemies are full HP in lane. They fall low HP, they recall, they don't stay in lane. So I'm not gonna kill them, right? Cut down deals damage in lane, and coup de grace deals 0 damage, right? There's no discussion there. People are more full HP than they're low HP. Trust me on that one. It's that simple. You want damage, go cut down. Cool. Now for the secondary roles, here we have a couple options. I see that a lot of people love to go biscuits and boots, which to me doesn't make much sense. Because remember what you talked about? You paid attention at the start of the video, right? You didn't skip that segment. What does Yunara want to do? She wants to scale. She wants to play for those 2 to 3 items. She wants to be very strong, a beast at 20 minutes when you get those items. You want to be crazy. So why do you go early game runes? Why do you go biscuits? Right? Why do you go boots or a bit of speed when you already have so much speed and free 300 gold? Don't need that free 300 gold, because that free 300 gold could very easily be Gathering Storm and Absolute Focus, which give you stats, which give you attack damage, which in a way it is gold. It is gold. And Gathering Storm and Absolute Focus just are scaling runes. And they scale together with you and your kit and your entire items into the 2 to 3 item spikes. 20 minutes you get the second proc of Gathering Storm. Absolute Focus, also very cool, because you're an ADC, you're gonna stay full HP. Like, trust me, in team fights, you're either dead or enemies are dead, but you're full HP. There's very rarely any in between, you just barely survived the fight. No. No, there's not, no, because people, when they get on top of you, they kinda kill you. So your job is to not let them get on top of you, okay? That's why Gathering Storm Absolute Focus is brilliant. It works really well with your kit, scales together with you. Very, very beautiful. And do not talk about Axiom Arcanist, guys. That does not buff your Q damage. It buffs your ult damage. That deals no damage. It makes no sense. Your main source of damage is your Q, not your W, right? So don't even talk about it. Cool. And then for the flex runes, by the way, you should just go like attack speed, and then adaptive force, and then flat health. Definitely go flat health, because that scaling health is not going to matter in the late game. You get one shot there on top of you. That flat health, though, will help you greatly in the early game. And I hope that makes sense, right? If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, right? I hope I wasn't too harsh on this, but people don't know how to build. And I feel like there's not enough content explaining people what items do and how they interact with each other, which is a bit annoying. But hopefully this made it a bit more clear. Take care, everyone. See you next time.